All right, we are back. No Look Podcast. Your boy Yo Soy, the man. Goddamn, lots to talk about today, Tyler. Obviously, football's back. The 2022 NFL season is underway. I don't know, Tyler. Obviously, I was like super excited for it, but I feel like yesterday was kind of a letdown. I don't know. There was a couple overtime games, but it wasn't even like the Chiefs Bills semifinals game in the playoffs last year where it was just like back and forth. We needed overtime to whoever had the ball last. Instead, no, you got the shit ass Colts and Texans that no one wants to score the last point and win. Joey Burrow was throwing interceptions out there, giving away picks like they were fucking candy on Halloween. The Steelers, they just don't know how to score the football. Um, I don't know. What did you make of yesterday? I was like I didn't know how to feel. It's like kissing your cousin, you know? You made
Yeah.
it move a little bit, but it's like, well, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously ecstatic to have football back. Scott Hansen, hearing his voice again, it's always like that, like you said on Sunday, it's like Christmas Day. Maybe for you, you didn't get what you asked your parents for. You didn't get the Xbox One, you got 360, and they were like, wait, what? I thought you wanted the Xbox. But I thoroughly enjoyed all the football that was being watched because at this point I was just ready to have football back. I had a jam-packed Saturday full of football too. So I've just been having a football crazed weekend, and that's honestly how I want to live my life from here on out. If I could watch football every single day of my life, I would be very happy. So I thought it was a great weekend for football. I thought there was a lot of good games. Yeah, there was, some games that were trash that we'll get into, but
Hmm.
I'm glad football is back, baby. Glad.
Right.
I
That's
woke up with
obviously.
the I woke up with the hardest,
Mm,
you know,
mm,
whatever,
mm,
since February
mm.
of this past year, and that's how you know that football's back.
Yeah. No, I woke up early. I was texting you guys on the East Coast, obviously. I probably woke up around 7 on a Sunday, which is maybe the
Incredible.
earliest in years. Who knows? Without catching a flight. The only thing I will say is I felt emotion for the first time in, I don't know, 6, 7 months. Yesterday, even though it was rage and anger, it's just good to feel something, you know. Makes me know, okay, you are still human. You do still have emotions. You just need to get on the phone call with Dana a few more times throughout the year and let those out naturally.
It's honestly the little things that keep us going in
Mm.
this life. And Austin, we're very simple people, simple men, if you will. And all we really need is football, and it's
Yeah.
here to stay for a little bit, at least long enough to help us get through these times. But no, I mean, I was proud of you waking up that early. It was 10 a.m. on our
Mm.
on our side when you woke up, and I was like, damn, Austin's fucking giddy for some football. But also a win.
Mm.
If you live on the West Coast, it's an
Oh
immediate
yeah.
W because Austin said it best. He gets to start watching football even earlier at what is it, 10 a.m.
Yep.
Just you having your fucking bowl of Wheaties and just
Mm-hmm.
watching kickoff of 17 different games. Honestly, it's a dream, Austin. I might have to
Yeah.
move out there just for that.
Honestly, that's not a bad reason to move out to the West Coast, right? You wake up, obviously I was a little early, but probably traditionally 8:39. Make a smoothie, make some eggs, set your lineups, and boom, you're right into football. The late game ends at 8 o'clock. You still have time to pop on House of Dragons and watch that.
How would you rate
Get
last
get
episode?
ready for bed. Last episode, probably my favorite of the season so far. It got
How many
spicy.
episodes have there been?
4.
Four. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Um,
Peter Lannister on there?
Peter Lannister. I think
What's
is that his name?
what's the Peter Dinklage? Peter Dinklage. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, plays Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah.
But it's funny. No, I think it's no. Yeah, there is a Lannister on this one because obviously it's the same house as. I But you said Peter. I was like, maybe his
Dumb
name is
question. How
Peter. I
many
don't know.
houses are there?
Oh Jesus! I mean, probably an infinite amount. I could probably name 10 or 12 off the top of my head. Um, I don't know how many have there been in the whole show in Game of
Yes.
Thrones. Out of probably 20 plus, if I had to guess. I don't think I could name them all, but
Who would you say is like the Super Bowl champion of houses in House of Cards or in House
House
of
of
Dragons?
Dragons. Well, it's got to be the Targaryens, right? They got you know
They got the dragons on their
they got
side. I
the
mean,
dragons. They got the Iron Throne. They're hot. They have nice hair.
nice
They
tits.
they got a lot. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that just kind of fell under the hot category. That was that was inferred, but yeah, no, they're definitely the favorites.
I thought Austin. I'm gonna hold off on Game of Thrones until the off season.
Okay.
I
Well,
think that would be a better time because to talk about it with you on the
hmm.
podcast would make more sense if football wasn't on.
No, agreed. If that was something that I know we mentioned, I would potentially rewatch it with you, and we would go through it episode by episode and get Tyler's, overall opinion, synopsis on it, which not a bad idea. But yeah, probably not during football season because we'll have plenty to talk about. We'll have our plates full, and yeah, it's definitely not my main focus right now because football is.
Well, speaking of which, Austin, let's go through our week one recap.
All right.
I decided, well, me and Austin decided that let's do something a little bit different. We'll go through each and every game. Maybe not go through like in detail every single play, but hit on some key points of each game that happened this weekend, and go through them and what our immediate thoughts are. Austin, I think the first slide is you.
I'll probably have
It
to
is.
defer to
We
you
go
because
we go every other.
yeah, okay, because I was gonna say I don't remember which which games I had. So yeah, credit to Tyler. He put this little slideshow together. He had the bulletins and the pictures. I like this one. Von Miller's got the triangle, the avatar on the back of his head. Shit, he was moving like a fucking airbender. We'll get into it. This was my game. I gave these what are we calling them? The key takeaways, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Von Miller still really good. Obviously, he left Denver. He had gotten hurt. There was questions about his ability to stay on the field and be productive. Right? He won the Super Bowl last year. Instead of just kind of hanging around on the favorites, he said, "Well, I'm gonna go out. I still got something left in my tank. This ring, it's like the Lord of the Rings. It does something to you. It makes you energized and ready to go." So he goes to Buffalo, and right now, Tyler, they got to be the easy favorites. Not just in the AFC, but I think in all of the NFL. They come into LA, banner night, ring ceremony night, and they really just make him eat shit, right? They push him down to the ground. They say, "You see this white dog shit? You're gonna fucking put this in your mouth, swallow it, and put it inside your stomach." And that's exactly what they did. Obviously, Josh Allen, phenomenal. The weapons, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox had a slow night. I think Isaiah McKenzie, which also, Tyler, I don't know if you saw this probably. Isaiah McKenzie did a gender reveal for his
Yeah, that was
sister.
electric.
I mean, what is he just say? Hey, tune
I know
in
I'm gonna
around
score here.
halfway through the second quarter. I'll probably get a quick touchdown, and then I'm gonna know where the camera is. They're gonna pick up my audio. Like there were so many different variables that had to go right, and it did. But shit, I guess when you're confident like that, anything, sky's the limit. So
Yeah,
that was
that
dope.
that's actually one gender reveal that I actually enjoy and liked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. How could they have planned it? Isaiah McKenzie was obviously like, "Hey, watch the game. If I do score a touchdown, what happens if he didn't score a touchdown? Like, do they wait for the next week? Like,
Well,
I mean,
not
it's
even
only so many weeks before you pop out a baby."
right. Not even. I'm sure there's some sort of backup plan in place. But also, how many times do you hear the player after the touchdown? Like, yeah, they got the camera on them, but
I
they
mean,
don't
you heard Aaron
necessarily.
Rodgers in Chicago last year.
Yeah, but it's like faint. Like I even almost didn't hear him scream, "It's a boy!" and he was like top of his lungs. I thought it would have been cooler if he had something on his shirt. He just lifted up his jersey real quick and showed it to the camera. But regardless, very cool, very cool. And my another takeaway from the other side of the football, Stafford's elbow could be an issue, Tyler. Cup did his thing. He caught the only touchdown of the game for the Rams. Robinson was non-existent. I don't know. I think he only had what, one or two targets.
Yeah, I think he had yeah, he had a catch in 17 yards or something like that.
Yeah, I want to say that was almost his only target. Stafford, he had the sleeve out there, and that wasn't like an Allen Iverson for show sleeve. That was like, oh shit, something's wrong sleeve, or we're trying to hide some stitches or something. He's already got that kind of unorthodox side baseball type throw, which is very jerky. You talk about pitchers and they're using their arm as a whip. So I don't know. I feel like Stafford's elbow may be more of an issue. I think McVay was quoted saying it doesn't look like something we've seen before or something along those lines. Like it's not a traditional quarterback injury. So that raises some red flags. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bills good. Rams, I wouldn't hit the panic button just yet, but that was not a good start to the season.
I would hover over it because Austin, they do have the I think they have the league's hardest schedule this season, as most Super Bowl teams typically have. So hovering over the panic button. But yeah, I mean everything that Austin said,
Well,
definitely
it's
agree with.
early.
Cooper Cup's still nasty though. I mean
Cooper
this
Cup,
guy,
yeah.
he's he proved to everybody that he isn't a fluke wide receiver. Had one good year. This guy is here to stay. He's legit.
Yeah. No, he's a baller. He's playing with confidence now. So we'll move
Next
on.
game, Eagles over the Lions, 38-35, in an absolute barn burner thriller. I guess you could say this was like a trash can barn burner
Mm.
thriller. Because you have two teams that not only where they're located is dumpster fire, but also their fans, some would say, are a dumpster fire as is.
The
Um,
Pyramid Pines game of the week.
the Pyramid Pines game of the week. Yeah, that you couldn't have said it any better, Austin. Uh, First one I had, Lions are almost there. They're just right there, always to like winning.
Hmm.
And in terms of winning, it's like the Eagles are obviously better than the Lions, right? They're just right there in almost beating a team that's better than them. DeAndre Swift, is an absolute baller. Jared Goff had a decent game. Amon St. Brown is still legit. So the Lions still have all these pieces in place. It's just like they're missing one more, facet. They have a great offensive line. I think a lot of it might have to do, with their defense. So they're almost there, and you gotta love their heart for it, especially after seeing um, Hard Knocks. They have a lot of heart. They're a team that you want to root for. But Hurts is ready to take the next step. That's my next key takeaway on the other side. I think Hurts is now on his way to being a proven starting quarterback in the NFL. This game was one game to prove it. He had a great game, not only rushing the ball. I think he had 50 yards rushing in the first quarter, but also throwing the ball. AJ Brown, a huge acquisition for the Eagles, and getting him in there kind of took away from Devontae Smith's share. But when you have a guy as dynamic as AJ Brown, it's going to help your team win games like this. And then Eagles D, that's the only thing that's going to be questionable from here on out. Announced today, Derek Barnett out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. That's a huge piece on their defensive line. So that's going to be tough going forward. So yeah, you won the battle, but what's going to happen in the war throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah. Kudos to the Lions coming out and putting up 35 points. It's not easy to do. Obviously, the
No.
Eagles' defense it's of concern anytime you let up over 30 points. Luckily, you're facing the Detroit Lions, or else you probably wouldn't have come out with a victory. But that just goes to show you how much like confidence and mentality can do for really all aspects of life. But in this situation, football, you can tell the Lions came out. They had the hard knock effects on themselves, right? Usually it's like, oh, I'm taking this guy in fantasy because I saw him on Hard Knocks. He looks good. Well, they watch themselves and they're like, well, shit, maybe we are the real deal. And you could tell how they came out and played. Swift is a baller. Like you said, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Goff had a decent game. We'll see. Again, week one, I don't want to make too many drastic opinions
Assumptions.
or
Yeah.
assumptions, but yeah, they looked good for the Lions standards.
One thing I will say, Austin, before we move on, is it's going to be a sad day when Dan Campbell gets fired.
Mm. Yeah,
It's going to be a very sad day.
I know. It's almost inevitable, right? Like they're just
Not even a Lions fan, and it's like I want to have this guy as my coach because of how electric he is. It's just
yeah.
like if he had Rodgers or Russell Wilson or whatever, if he had someone like that at quarterback, he'd be fine, and I think his team would be very successful, but he
Hmm.
doesn't. So it's gonna be a sad day for the NFL when Dan Campbell is not a head coach.
Yeah, unless he can miraculously go above 500 in the next, I don't know, maybe 2 years, which I don't see that happening.
Yeah, well, maybe.
All right, moving on. We had Bears Niners in the. I don't know what the fuck to make of this game of the week. My first and foremost, my first takeaway is playing in the rain sucks. Tyler, if anyone's played football in the rain, the best part about playing in the rain is taking your wet socks off after the game and just like taking a nice warm shower so you don't get hypothermia. It sucks. It slows you down. You're slipping. You can't catch the ball. And we saw that impacted today. Some players jumbling the ball, catching wise, fumbles, what have you. And really, like obviously the Bears win 19-10. I don't chalk this up to the Bears are a better football team. I think the Bears play better football for this kind of weather, right? They run the ball, they play good defense, they force takeaways, they chew the clock up. They had a lot of time of possession, and in the end, I just think they played their game, and the Niners really. How can you prepare for something like this, Tyler? A torrential downpouring, and my other key takeaway: Kittle is a key component for the Niners. Especially a young quarterback like Trey Lance. They talk about it. Tight end position is a security blanket for those guys, and he wasn't there. I think they were missing their starting left tackle, and it was evident. Eli Mitchell goes down. That'll be something to watch. I think he's out six
Actually,
to
they
eight
just
weeks.
yeah, they just announced 6 to 8 weeks. I thought was is 2 to 4 months the same thing? About
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's more like 2 months,
yeah.
but it's
3.
6 to 8 weeks.
Wait.
That's what I actually saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
All
gonna
right.
say that. Austin, if you were to pick, would you rather play in torrential downpour rain like this, or would you
Hmm.
rather play in the snow?
Probably snow. I mean, the temperature aspect of it, the cold, you can play for that, right? You can bundle up, you can get the heaters on the sidelines. It's like how can you game plan or adjust for just torrential downpouring, right? You
Yeah,
don't, you know, you don't know how the field reacts, if there's going to be water pockets, if you're going to slip, if maybe your glove slips off the last ball that they threw, but not this ball. It's just I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to make of this. I still don't think the Bears are that great. I still think the Niners will probably finish with a better overall record. But hey,
big win for the Bears.
congrats to Chicago. Congrats, Brendan.
Next game we got the OT game that almost ended in a tie. Which Austin, I think Scott Hansen said it as we'll get to the other game. It would be the first time since 1973 that 2 games in 1 week happened in a tie. Um, First key takeaway: having a long snapper is actually super important.
Mm,
As we saw in this game, their long snapper for the Bengals went down. Backup tight end Wilcox came in to snap the ball, and what they had 2 opportunities, and they missed both times. One from a short distance, it was a high snap. Actually, both were a high snap. Kind of ruined the tempo of it for McPherson, and missed both of them. Next key takeaway: Steelers are fine with Trubisky. I mean, I feel like the Steelers can work with Trubisky. I think he's a quarterback that they can move on with. I didn't think he was as bad as people said he was. Granted, the Steelers probably don't feel great about winning this game, but first game with a new quarterback, Najee Harris goes down. It's a tough situation to kind of lead your team against a team that went to the Super Bowl last year. So, I'm not loving, but I'm liking Trubisky as a Steeler. I think they're in good hands. And then giant question mark on the other side of the Steelers ball. TJ Watt, is he out for the season? He's getting a second and third opinion on a torn pec. If it's true, out for the season. What happens to the Steelers after that?
Yeah, no, very much so a staple of that defense, and that defense is pretty much the only thing that team has going for him. Like you said, Najee got hurt. They're saying his X-rays came back negative, so he'll probably play it next week. But he didn't do much. Um, I don't even like again, Tyler. I had Red Zone on, but pretty much the only thing I saw from this game was Joe Burrow throwing an interception. Like
Yeah. I mean, the
Claypool had a
Steelers had
nice
a
catch, I
pick
think.
six, so that helped.
Yeah, but like they didn't get Pickens going at all. I just they have it's so disgusting, Tyler. It fucking really gives me heartburn, and indigestion. It's like you
Upset
got
stomach.
you got fucking Claypool, Pickens, Deontay Johnson,
Pat Fryermuth, former Penn
Fryermuth,
State great.
and you got Trubinsky throwing to him. Meanwhile, in Green Bay, you got Rodgers throwing to the fucking practice squad. Like it's sick to my stomach. Oh my god! If they were switched on teams, however the quarterback or the receiving core, they would be a Super Bowl contending team instantly.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. And I mean, honestly, the Packers could. I don't want to jump ahead, but the Packers could keep their defense. I mean, you just got to add that wide receiver core and you're set.
Yeah. Oh my god! I can't even think about it. It's gonna get my blood boiling. Next game, I believe this is mine. Dolphins Patriots 20-7. First and foremost, speed kills. I was skeptical, at least from a fantasy perspective, how Tyreek Hill would do. Playing with Tua, who obviously doesn't have the arm strength that Pat Mahomes does. But again, anytime you have a guy that caliber, that fast, maybe you don't need to lead him on a bomb down the field. Maybe you can just put the ball in his hands on screens or jet sweeps, and let him do the rest because he's going to be fast no matter what. And I saw that a few times. I was like, all right, Tyreek's going to be fine. The Dolphins might be decent this year. Waddle, who has the best touchdown celebration in the NFL right now, in my opinion. That shit is hilarious, and it obviously just fits so perfectly with his last name. You saw him catch just a quick little slant. He's running like the Antonio Brown, the Des Bryant quick slants, and he doesn't have that much separation. But once he gets the ball, tucks it high and tight, he's turning upfield, and he's obviously got breakaway speed. So that's my first takeaway: speed kills. And secondly, Patriots are down bad. Mac Jones, he didn't look good.
Got
Um,
injured.
got injured. I didn't really see the severity of that. You bring in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. I saw Jonnu with one catch.
Hunter
Obviously.
Henry doesn't play for them anymore.
Oh, that's right. Who's he on again?
I think the Titans. I want to say the Titans.
No, that's Austin Hooper. I don't know. We'll circle back.
Who
Anyways,
does Hunter Henry play for? Okay, didn't recognize it. Not even Siri knows.
all right. Well, you look at that. I'll keep rambling on a little bit. I don't know. You have a pretty decent running core. You got Damian Harris. You got Ramondre, I believe,
Oh, he
Stevenson.
does play for the Patriots. I thought they got rid of him.
No. Well, they acquired him from the Chargers.
That was my bad. I swore I saw him playing on a new team.
Tyler sabotaging me. He is
My
playing
bad.
on a new team for his second season now on the New England Patriots, paired up with Jonnu Smith. So you got these guys, right? You bring them in for Mac Jones. What was I saying earlier? He doesn't have just one security blanket. He's got two of them. Um, I want to say they were both Pro Bowlers, maybe not, but both proven tight ends. You bring in Devontae Parker. He had one catch. N'Keal Carey, Aguilar, those guys were non-existent. I don't know what they did.
Okay, N'Keal Harry doesn't play for them. I know that for a fact.
Who am I think? Jacoby Myers. Sorry,
There you go.
Jacoby Myers is who I was talking about.
Nikhil
Uh,
plays for the Bears.
yeah, I might as well play for the fucking McDonald's
What's that?
all
The Mean
breakfast
Machine.
team. I don't know,
Mean
guys.
Machine.
Guys, buns, and I'm not talking about the fucking shit you put on a hamburger.
Buns.
Anyways, Patriots, they got to figure something out. They don't have their prototypical Patriots team. There's no Tom Brady, Gronk, Edelman. Um, I don't. Do they have Van Noy still? I don't
No,
know.
Van Noy actually plays for the
They
Chargers.
they
That
lost
motherfucker.
J.C. Jackson. They lost both those guys to the Chargers. Then I don't know
Ah,
what's going on. Bill
yeah,
Belichick, he's gonna have to start doing some magical powers because
yeah.
whatever's
It-
going on right now in New England is not it.
It's like all of the powers of the Patriots defense went to the Dolphins because the Dolphins now have a very stout defense. They're electric to watch on both sides of the ball. I think the Dolphins are they're gonna give the AFC East a run for their money. I wouldn't say they're gonna be beating the Bills, but they're
Well,
gonna
then
they're
how can you say they give them a run for their money?
I mean
Because
they're
who are
gonna
we
have some
talking about other than the Bills? The
they're
Jets
gonna
and the
have some pretty
Patriots?
good games with the Bills, and I meant the AFC.
No.
But they're gonna be one of those teams that either are in the wild card or past it. I could see it. They're deep. As long as all things stay the same, I think their offense and their defense playing like they did, they're gonna be a tough team. You watch.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, the two we got to figure probably both the wild card slots are going to the AFC West, right?
yeah.
So where does that leave them? I don't know.
I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. Luckily for us, we have 17 more weeks to figure it out. A lot can
Yeah,
happen in that time.
yeah.
Next game we
Before
got.
before you
Oh,
get into this, I just want to say, much like the Bengals Steelers game, a close game that came down to the wire, but it was just still a terrible football game.
yeah.
They were turning the ball over. The touchdowns were disgusting, and I'll let you go into it further. But just the score and the ending does not implicate how good the game was overall.
Yeah. Yeah. 26-24 Browns over the Panthers. Baker was so close to revenging his team,
He's
his
eating
old
his
team,
ass
that should
down
be.
there.
Yeah. That's that's fucked up.
I saw it.
Baker likes getting his ass eaten.
Uh,
He's literally part of the Browns. But yeah, Baker fourth quarter smiling on the sideline as they were up by 1 point, and he was laughing and giggling, and then next thing you know, Cade York, the rookie kicker, comes in and kicks the field goal for the win. I think it was a bomb too, 50 yards or something like that. But Jacoby Brissett edges out Baker. I find that hilarious. I do feel for Baker though. I mean, on his end of the spectrum, I feel like they didn't game plan for McCaffrey, that well. They didn't give him the ball that much. He only had like 10 fantasy points. DJ Moore was non-existent. So I think they got to do a better job of getting their key guys in there. And their defense, you got to pressure Jacoby Brissett. He's a backup quarterback. But on the other end of the spectrum, the Browns are sneaky good. They're running their two running back head with Chubb and Hunt is just electric. It's hard to game plan against. As you saw, Kareem Hunt catching balls, running balls. Chubb had a 100-yard game. You wouldn't even notice. And they still got Amari Cooper out there. They're trying to get him into the ball. But as long as the Browns keep chugging away, using their key players, as in Hunt and Chubb, running the ball, and also pressuring the quarterback with Myles Garrett, I think they'll be fine before Deshaun Watson gets back, if he comes back.
Yeah, both these teams fucking suck. If the Browns can, hover around 500, they might have a chance. They definitely have the better roster. The defense is still a little shaky, but I don't know. Not much to
They have
say.
one of the best. They have the best, if not one of the best, defensive ends in the league. So
Oh
that
yeah.
plays a huge role. Also, first time I think ever that two first overall picks from the same team were in a play where the first overall pick from the team sacked the first overall pick from the team that was now playing on another team.
Yeah,
I think that was another crazy stat.
yeah, I heard that one as well. Another shitty game with a shitty outcome. Colts Texans tied 2020. Yeah, Colts, they start out slow. I mean, can you blame them? They've had how many different starting quarterbacks over the past few seasons? Um, it's going to take Matty Ice a few games to get going, to figure out the system. Pittman looked good. You're welcome, Tyler. Jonathan
Thank
Taylor
you.
looked good. Um, I don't know. The defense did all right. I think the offense didn't really help them out because they were forcing them on the field a lot. The Texans had a lot of opportunities. I think that's why the game ended the way it did. If the offense holds the ball, the time of possession more, obviously puts up more points. I think the Colts, beat them handily like they should have. But I don't know. I'm not down on the Colts. And I'm certainly not giving any praise to the Texans because they're fucking terrible. And
Dog water.
yeah, certified fucking puppy spit. Um, this might they might still not win a game at all this season. This may be their best game of the season. That they didn't lose and they still didn't win it. That's just the Texans in a nutshell. And also, ties are stupid. I don't care what we need to do if we need to adopt. Well, I know they did it for they changed the rules for the playoffs,
Yep.
which I forget what it was. They need anyways. Both team gets a possession, but that doesn't even factor into a tie. Obviously, playoffs. They already weren't going to play for a tie. I don't care if they need to do the college football system where they just do possessions from the 20 in until someone wins. If we need a field goal kicker shootout, if we need whatever cheerleader can do the best split. I don't know what the fuck we need to do. I'm sick and tired of having ties in the NFL regular season. Like I said earlier, Tyler, it's like kissing your cousin. You don't know what to make of it. At least you didn't lose, but at the same time, you didn't win. You'd almost rather lose because then you know how to digest it and be mad. Like, am I mad? Am I turned on? I don't know whose hair is in my mouth. Is it mine or yours? I don't know what's going on. Ties suck. We need to get rid of them, and that was my biggest takeaway.
This is, Austin, the biggest AFC South game of the century. And honestly, we haven't gotten to it yet, all of the teams. But it's just funny how the standings are already playing out after week one, for all the AFC South teams. This division is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Even the best team is not that great. They should probably dissolve it or do something in terms of making it competitive again, because I don't know what's going on here, but it seems like when they play each other, things like this, where ties are stupid, actually happen.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we have whatever year it was, 20. God, I think it's
I think it
18.
was
It
like,
was
yeah, I
probably
think it was like 5
15.
years. Yeah.
NFC East, where a team made the playoffs with a record under 500, just because that's how the fucking system works. We could see that again with this division.
Next game, the Saints go marching in, baby. 27
Tyler was
26.
2-1, by the way, yesterday. Two of his teams won, and only one of them lost.
I knew that was coming. First off, first key takeaway, obviously, Michael Thomas is all the way back, and it's great to see. I woke up this morning and I'm just so happy for the guy. Obviously, he hasn't played a game since 2020, because he was out all last year. I arguably think he's the top 3 wide receiver in the league when he's healthy. So it's great to see him back. They call him the slant guy, the slant god, if you will. All they say he does is slant routes, which I disagree with. I think he's a very elusive quarterback, or wide receiver, excuse me. But 2 touchdowns, first game back since 2020. It's good to see. Also, the Falcons are going to Falcons. So that's the new catchphrase. Blowing, what was it, Austin, a 16-point lead.
I think yeah, at least 15. I think.
Just terrible. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like their staple or their what they're known for. It's like you're going to I don't know if you have these there, but you go to Wing House. Yeah, you're going to eat
I
wings because they're really good, but you're also there to see some fucking ass. And that's what the Falcons are gonna do. They're gonna go up by big, and then they're just gonna lose at the end. But I mean, the Saints, they're there. I don't love them. I think they're going to be good. They're going to compete. I don't trust Jameis all the way yet. So,
mm.
it's going to be an interesting season for the Saints.
Yeah, no, glad to see Michael Thomas back. Him and Saquon, two of the guys that are, when they're healthy at the top of their position, it's good to see them back and healthy. And yeah, Tyler, I was sitting there yesterday. I was like, all right, Falcons look decent. Like Mariota looked fluent. He was moving the ball, and they had a decent lead. I'm like, shit, all right. I don't know if the Falcons are decent or the Saints just suck. And then, sure enough, I fucking wiped the crusties out of my eyes and take a closer look at the TV screen, and the Saints came all the way back to win. Another shitty game. Just not much to take away. The Ravens handled business against the Jets. Um, Ravens are a good football team. Are they great? I don't know because they beat the shit ass Jets 24-9. That's what they're supposed to do. Lamar looked good. Duvernay, Bateman, who's gonna catch the ball with Marquise Hollywood Brown leaving? I think that answers the question. Andrews is still top tier athlete at the tight end position. I didn't even see the running back stats with Drake and what was it,
Mike
Mike Davis.
Davis, yeah.
They did enough, obviously.
They came out kind of slow, I will say that.
Well, the thing is on this too, Tyler, if I'm not mistaken, Lamar barely ran the ball. They didn't really
Yes,
play
no, you're
Ravens
right.
football. They didn't, no triple options, not a lot of RPOs. I saw him standing in the pocket a lot. So if they can win football games like that and make sure Lamar stays healthy, then Ravens could be a scary football team. My other takeaway, Michael Carter is still the guy for now. He still got most of the touches. You know, I reference a lot to fantasy. Brees Hall was taken, a round, if not 2 rounds before Michael Carter. Now week one, he still has a grip on that backfield. I don't know how firm that grip is. I wouldn't say it's far from a white knuckle, Tyler. I'll tell you that much. It's not a firm grip at all. But he still is the guy, so that'll be a interesting situation to watch. I, I probably live under a rock for asking this question, but what's up with Zach Wilson?
He was out.
Clearly,
Yeah, Joe Flacco revenge game was a fail.
clearly.
But I think Zach Wilson, I think he's probably out for like at least the first 4 weeks because he's on the pup list.
Mm.
So maybe even longer. I think it might even be 4 to 8 weeks if I remember correctly. So it might be a while till we see Zach Milson on the field.
Mm. Yeah, he probably got a cock dysplasia from
A cougar bite.
yeah from all his milf
I'm
banging.
going cougar hunting. Well, speaking of big cats, if you will,
Mm.
Commanders 28, Jaguars 22. Austin, it's official.
Yep.
Jahan Dotson is a former Penn State great
Yeah.
because the guy came and he balled 2 touchdowns for the rookie, first game in the NFL. I told you this, Austin. I don't know if you remember. I said this guy is real deal Holyfield, and he came out and he showed why. I'm actually surprised that he played so well being on Washington with Carson Wentz. But Scary Terry, Dotson, they showed out. Gibson had a solid game. Granted, against the Jaguars, but the Commanders stout on defense slightly. Obviously, giving up 22 to the Jaguars is kind of questionable, but overall, kind of shocked that the Commanders actually came out and won a game. Other takeaway on the other side of the ball, Austin. Literally, I don't know what more for the Jaguars anymore. I don't know what more you can do, what more you can add. Obviously getting acquisitions like Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Etienne's back. They have some solid pieces with Josh Allen on defense, and I guess you could keep going, but like at some point, Trevor Lawrence, being in his second year, has to take that next step in being a true NFL quarterback and being, the Jesus of football that they said he was. I mean, you have to do something with what you have, and it's not like he doesn't have good players around him anymore. He can't make that excuse. You're facing Washington. Yeah, it's in Washington, but at the end of the day, you got to do more. And I felt Trevor Lawrence was very underwhelming yesterday.
For me, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm gonna keep stinking it up because Tyler, I don't know if you use this strat, but back in the day, if I had a chore and I didn't want to do it, I would do a bad job at it because then I would never get picked to do that chore again. I would put away the dishes. I'm like, this sucks. Started putting the cups on the plates cabinet, and my mom was like, all right, that's it. You're not doing the dishes anymore. I was like, thank fucking God. Trevor Lawrence, keep being a shitty quarterback for the Jaguars because then they're gonna want to boot you. You'll go out in free agency. Maybe you'll get in a situation that you can actually flourish in because I think he's still a good quarterback. I saw flashes of potential, but Tyler, I don't even know if you take the Jags all-time best team with Byron Leftwich and prime Maurice
Fred Taylor.
Jones-Drew. I don't know if that team even is the best team in the NFL right now. That's how bad that organization is. But again, like you said, Dotson, all the talent in the world, much like McLaurin, but stats were inflated playing the Jags. This may be their highest scoring game of the season, at 28
Wow.
points. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
I mean, they play in the NFC, so I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. Because I mean, Giants, whatnot, Eagles,
Yeah, but
dumpster
sometimes
fire games.
sometimes you just enable each other and it's like, well, you play the level of your competition, right? Sometimes, you start playing the Giants and Danny Dimes is out there seeing ghosts throwing it to the other team. You might get a little, well, oh, come on, he's having a lot of fun. I want to throw an interception too. Next thing you know, it's 6-3 at halftime and you're fucking you're tying 2020 like the Texans and the Colts.
Yeah, that's true.
Here we go, Tyler. I don't, it's nice
Rip the
graphic.
band-aid.
Um, Vikings 23, Packers 7. First and foremost, the main takeaway: Justin Jefferson is elite. You can definitely make the argument that he's the best receiver in the NFL. Um, he did it against a traditionally poorly schemed Packers defense. Obviously it's easy to say after the game's concluded, but Jair Alexander comes out and says, "Oh, I wish I was shadowing him the whole game." Blah blah blah. Packers are sitting there. They got Alexander. They got Douglas. They got Stokes. They still play zone defense, and look what happened. Jefferson goes off for damn near 200 yards, and it's not even like okay, Devontae and Aaron Rodgers or Mike Evans, Tom Brady, like Kirk Cousins. One throw, I saw him step up in the pocket and he fucking threw off his front foot and he looked like someone that was left-handed trying to throw righty. And Jefferson was just so wide open that he still caught it and it was a 50-yard gain. That's how bad the Packers fucking game plan was defensively. Obviously, you need to respect the Vikings line and their run game with Dalvin Cook. That's clear, because they will gas you. But to sit back in a zone and, most times against a Kirk Cousins led offense, that would probably work. But when you have Justin Jefferson and, oh, let me add in a sprinkle of Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne, and I think there's a rookie guy that they're pretty high on. It just did not bode well. But that wasn't the most concerning, Tyler. Packers have won football games where they let up 23 points before. The most concerning thing and takeaway from this game is Rodgers does not have a soul on that offense that he trusts to catch the ball. A.J. Dillon was the leading receiver. A running back, a backup running back is your leading receiver? I mean, obviously butterfly effect. If Christian Watson catches that 80-yard touchdown, 7-7, who knows? maybe we have a great ball game and Packers squeak one out with a field goal 27-24. But that's not what happened. Clearly the nerves got to him. He didn't see another target until like late in the fourth quarter. Dobbs made some decent catches. Watkins, they ran a couple quick out routes and screen passes to him to pick up third downs, but you know they didn't utilize Tanyan enough. I think you keep two running backs, as starters, and you have four tight ends on the active roster. Run those sets. You can't run the West Coast, four running back, one tight end, one run. What did I say? Four wide receiver, one tight end, one running back. When you don't have wide receivers you trust, it's just like fake decoys. It doesn't do its purpose. Um, Load the box, put Mercedes Lewis out there with Tanyan or Jaguar or whatever you want. I wouldn't be upset if A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones both played every single snap on offense. If it's your best guys out there and they happen to be two running backs and two tight ends, so be it. Um, I don't know. Rodgers, he looked dejected. He was clearly, visibly upset, and his patience had ran out very early on in the game. But Tyler, my main takeaway, as you put the graphic up there, RELAX, relax. I'm glad they lost this game because clearly there's issues. Like I said, if they'd squeaked out a win, maybe they're still holding the band-aid over the bullet hole, and they're making it work for another week. But they need to go back to the drawing board. They need to figure some stuff out. Something happened. There was a special teams penalty. I'm like, all right, they bring in Bisaccia, and not even he can fix the special teams. Um, they got to figure something out. I'm not hitting the panic button yet, but that wasn't fun to watch, and it wasn't even just because I had to hit refresh on my illegal streams 20 times because the fucking game. I couldn't even watch the Packers get their ass kicked. I had to fucking refresh and do this and that, but not so chill, Tyler. That wasn't fun.
Yeah, well, if you go to the next game, this wasn't fun for me either. Missed the whole first quarter because I was driving home from work. Oh well, really nothing happened. But from there on out, it seemed to be the Chargers game. Obviously, the sprinkle of the Raiders coming back, ended in 24-19 Chargers. A lot of it, they're playing in LA, first game for Devontae Adams, first game for the new head coach for the Raiders. You could say all those excuses. At the end of the day, it falls onto the captain. As you said, Austin, with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, he didn't have anybody to throw to. Well, Derek Carr had everybody to throw to, and still had 3 interceptions. A bad performance by Derek Carr, unacceptable, if you will. Adams was our missing piece in my key takeaway, but now it's our offensive line that's missing. I said this early on in the season, early in the offseason, if you will. I'm very concerned about this offensive line, and it showed against this Chargers defense. Obviously, they have one of the best defensive lines with Joey Bosa, with Khalil Mack. So you add that into a strong secondary with Derwin James and J.C. Jackson now. This team is a solid, stout defensive team. And mind you, they have a great offense with Herbert. Eckler was kind of non-existent. Allen went down even though he was having a solid game. Mike Williams really didn't do much. I'm pretty sure they scored touchdowns with their backup fucking tight end. Gerald Everett had a touchdown. So, their offense was kind of, complacent. They didn't really do that much. It was my next key takeaway. Chargers D is elite. That defense won that game for the Chargers. It was great seeing Adams have 10 receptions and a tutter, but at the end of the day, Derek Carr's got to look himself in the mirror, maybe have a few prayer calls with Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior himself, and say, hey, listen, what do I got to do to get through this AFC West? Because this is going to be a tough haul the rest of the season. I can't keep having 5-point games, 3 interceptions from Derek Carr. I might have a aneurysm, a heart attack at the age of 27. You might be having to bury me 6 feet deep. But
No, we don't want that.
yeah, it
Season's
was
still early.
again, Austin. I'm glad they lost this game.
Yeah.
Like you said with the Packers, I'm glad they lost this game
Glass half
because
full.
they beat the Chargers. Some would say in a fluke last year in the week 18. They needed to lose this game because they needed to get pushed down a pedestal and say, hey, maybe we're not that good. We're not that guy yet,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Now
That's
you,
okay.
you got to pay your dues. I mean, losing against the Chargers, who, my pick is one of the top teams in the NFL, if not,
Yeah,
the AFC. Not
I
not a
think
bad start.
on the other side of the spectrum, Austin, I honestly think that the Chargers realize this game that they're actually not that good either. If it
Right.
wasn't for their defense, they wouldn't have been in that game. Their defense played a huge role. Their offense was kind of non-existent.
Yeah, quick turnaround for them Thursday night against, as
The
we call
Chiefs.
it, they appear. And Keenan Allen, his injury status, we'll have to monitor that. He's a big aspect, key component of that offense. But everyone's talking about the new Chargers, the Raiders. Oh, Russ is on the Broncos. Oh, they forgot about the Chiefs. Yeah, they lost Tyreek Hill, but no Tyreek, no problem. Mahomes, I think, he came out, was it last week, maybe Friday or so? He said, sorry, fantasy guys, I'm just going to spread the rock. Clearly, Travis Kelce is still his favorite target. Juju, second on the team in targets. He didn't find the end zone. I think Hardman did. CEH was catching a lot out of the backfield. The other guy actually had more carries than Edwards-Helaire, the rookie. I forget his name.
Sky
But
Moore.
no,
Oh, he's a wide receiver.
something with like Pascal
Oh,
or
Isaiah Pacheco.
yes,
Pacheco.
Pistachio. We'll
You
call him
really don't know these guys unless you play fantasy football. Like,
right.
who the fuck is this guy? Why do I know his name?
Yeah,
But I
fucking
don't remember what my girlfriend told me yesterday about how she had training in fucking field camp. So,
right. I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but you know what, Tyler? I remember that game. Steven Jackson had 38.7 points back in 2014. I would have won if he cried. Anyways, Chiefs, they're still a phenomenal football team. Um, I don't think there was anything in question about them this season. Maybe the main thing was the Bills seemed to have gotten better and the Chiefs maybe gotten worse at the very, most stayed the same. They lost Tyreek, they lost the Honey Badger. They still have Jones, as you see in that graphic, causing havoc. And on the other side of the ball, Kyler really needs Hopkins. I forget, I had the box score up, but the top guy who had the top targets for the Cardinals, it was a name I had never seen before. AJ Brown had like one. Rondell Moore, who was supposed to step up, had like four. I don't, Ertz didn't do anything. James Conner, like nothing was going for the Cardinals. Honestly, it's surprising they put up 21 points. Um,
a lot of garbage time touchdowns.
yeah, that's probably what it was right there.
James
Again,
Conner
I
had
didn't
one in
watch
the
this game.
in the fourth.
Was this a 4 o'clock
Ertz,
game?
yeah, Ertz had one in the fourth quarter, and I think Connor had one late third, early fourth,
Hmm.
and then I don't
Yeah,
know who the other touchdown was.
Yeah, I was watching solely the Packers game, so I didn't really catch much of this one. But just of the highlights, that's all I need to know. Kyler, just got paid all this money in the off season. I think he should pick up the tablet, put down the controller, start watching some film because clearly he did not plan for this one. And it's not all on him. I'm somewhat joking, right? The Chiefs are the Chiefs. Like they've been the same team for how many years now? To come out here and get surprised by them, like yeah, kudos Andy Reid and their game plan. But you know what they're gonna be doing. They're playing fast football. You know what Mahomes is capable of. Yeah, maybe you don't have the personnel to stop it, but I mean, come out, show a little bit more grit. I just feel like they kind of laid down and took it, and like, well, Chiefs are the Chiefs, we're the Cardinals. We're just gonna chalk this up to a loss and move on. That's not what you want to see as a fan of the Cardinals.
Next game, Giants 21, Titans 20. Austin, check our friend Nasty. Is he still alive? Is he
Hmm.
still kicking? Rough weekend for our boy. Titans losing,
I
and
thought this was
also
mine.
Scott Frost. Oh yeah,
think you
Scott
mix it up.
Frost being fired, but I just wanted to say check on our boy Nasty. Nasty, if you're still alive, text me.
Yeah, he texted me. I half the time I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, so I just respond in the best way I think is possible. He texted me saying eliminated week one, lol. I I don't know if he had like a pick 'em pool where he had to get them all right every week or something.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
true.
I
Yeah, he
that
probably
that's
did.
that's the only thing I can say. So I just responded like, "Oh, we both had a tough day." Because clearly they're not eliminated from the playoffs after losing one game. But
They might be.
yeah, I don't know. Am I going or?
Yes, yeah, my bad.
All right, it's all good. Yeah, you put a lot of time and effort into this, so one mess up, I won't I won't let that be the one shining or blemish on this thing. Saquon's finally healthy. Like I said earlier, him and Michael Thomas, they're all the way back. They're looking good. I don't think, obviously Giants won the football game. I just think that they didn't as much win the football game. The Titans more so lost this game. My other key takeaway, they miss AJ Brown. Tannehill can't really do much without a star wide receiver, and that's evident. Henry did his thing. You know, I think they just got to feed him the ball like 20, 30 times a game if they want to win because I don't know how many carries he had. I saw at one point he was like 12 for 80. He's being productive. I know you got to keep the defense honest and throw some passes out there just to be like, hey, we're not going to run it every time. Yes, we are. No, we're not. But yes, we are. But yeah, I don't know. Titans, again, week one, I'm not smashing the panic button on any team yet. I think the Giants are still bad. DeBall or whatever his name is.
Dable.
Dable, he was all hyped up. I was like, slowly roll there, bud.
That guy's got some big balls though.
Yeah,
Insert picture of Randy from South Park
Randy Marsh.
carting his nuts around in a wheelbarrow because that was Dable going for two and it paying
That
off.
was ballsy.
That
Yeah.
was ball. I mean, that's really how you take back the locker room, I think, Austin.
Well, there you go. You gotta start some kind of initiative, right, and get the momentum going. So we'll see what happens. But I I still don't have the Giants at over 6 wins on the season, and maybe six is generous. I just
Yeah.
they start out 1-0, but
Sunday night game, Austin. Bucks 19, Cowboys 3. Austin, it was pretty evident. Bucks have so many options, offense and defense. It doesn't even matter. I feel like they didn't even go, they weren't even at 100 in terms of how much they were trying in this game. I feel like this could have been a very much more lopsided game. Uh,
yeah, it was
but
another shitty football game.
yeah, I mean, again though, Todd Boyles is the head coach. He's a primarily defensive guy, so holding any NFL team to 3 is pretty impressive. Um, their offense, they got Julio Jones involved early and often. Chris Godwin back and healthy, got him involved. Mike
Oh, he's
Evans
hurt
with
now
yeah, well, he'll
again.
be back. He's a former Penn State great. We're tough. We're resilient. Mike Evans with that touchdown one-handed grab, absolutely electric, as you see on the picture. Lenny could have had a touchdown if they really wanted to. They stole it from him, but they have so many options. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they're just scary. Their defensive line getting to the quarterback, their secondary played really well. But at the end of the day, Austin, my other key takeaway is the Cowboys are dead. It's time to blow up the
Mm.
franchise. Panic button has been initiated in my eyes. Dak Prescott out for 6 to 8 weeks possibly with a broken thumb. So now you get Cooper Rush. There is a question on the table, Austin.
What's that?
Do the Packers go after Jimmy Guap?
Jimmy Garoppolo?
I mean, he's a backup quarterback. He could be a starter in the NFL. Dak Prescott's out. They don't know if he'll be the same Dak Prescott
Wait,
when
you
he
just
comes
said
back.
Packers.
I meant Cowboys. That's my
Yeah,
bad.
I was like, wait, what?
So I mean, is it a fair assessment to say that hey, maybe we go after Jimmy Guap,
Hmm.
get him on our team, continue this ride with the team that they think that they have that's so good? I don't know, but
I
something
mean,
to
if
think
it's
about.
if it's possible, I think you kind of have to. If you don't, then you're just lying down and taking it. Like, okay, We're gonna go with
Cooper
Cooper
Rush.
Rush
There's no
and
way you win a game with Cooper Rush. There's just no
ah,
way.
oh yeah, they can win a game, but they're not.
Stop.
What? They're better than. I mean, they could be like the Jags or the Texans with Cooper Rush.
I just think there's a
I don't.
0% chance they win any games with Cooper Rush while Dak Prescott's out. So, I
Yeah,
mean, unless you're willing to lose and, call the season over, then yeah, don't go and get a quarterback that could be a starter in the NFL. But,
yeah.
I Cowboys in my opinion, they're dead. I think it's time to blow up the team, get rid of the pieces that aren't good, aka Ezekiel Elliott, who Austin thinks is RB1. Um,
Well,
Gallup being out, that kind of hurt too. I'm not gonna lie, but
hmm.
Cowboys are dead.
Yeah, they're not looking good. Oh, I don't know that we have much of prediction anymore, Tyler. I'm following
Well,
on my phone Gamecast.
I had the Broncos in this one. I will say that, which they're 4th and 5 right now, 16-7, down by one with 25 seconds to go. Um, Probably not looking good as Russell Wilson calls a timeout, but it hasn't been a great game Monday Night Football. So Austin might be onto something in terms of when he says that the games this week haven't been great, not as productive as you thought Russell Wilson would be. He's not putting up fancy stats. I mean, Geno Smith is back.
Hmm.
Never thought I would have been saying that week one. Seahawks aren't that bad without Russell. It's crazy, Austin.
Oh, that sucks. You're gonna lose to Steph.
Yeah,
And you talk a lot of shit.
it's possible. I talk a lot of shit every week, though.
How are you gonna hype up your boy Michael Thomas and then not even start him?
Well, funny thing is that I was between Michael Thomas and Jalen Waddle, and really I should have just put Michael Thomas in for DJ Moore. Why did I trust DJ Moore out of anybody?
Hmm. Yeah, we need to make a trade.
Well, that's shitty, right there, Austin.
What happened?
Seahawks called the timeout as McManus on the Broncos went to kick a field goal
Hmm.
and missed it.
Oh wow. That's that doesn't happen a lot, but that's always the concern if you do that.
It's like, I mean, honestly though, like I think icing the kicker is overrated in my
Wait, wait,
opinion.
wait. They're kicking from
64.
wait, I don't this just said field goal no good.
I mean, I might be behind you, Austin. But the last kick, I mean, had distance, and this one is no good. Yeah, they missed it. Second time.
Well,
Dangerous.
I went 0-2 in my main leagues for
I went
fantasy.
one
That's
and
not
one.
fun.
At least I beat Austin. That's all I care about.
Fucking Aaron Rodgers, 5 points. It's not gonna get it done, bub. Love what I see out of my receivers though. Chase 31, Judy 23.
Yeah, Judy had a big game. I mean, Judy only had 38 catches last season, I heard, with 0 touchdowns. Now scores a touchdown, and how many receptions did he have? 8.
4 for 102 and a tutty.
Whew. Wow.
He's the better version of Tyler Lockett, and Russ loves Lockett. He's just gonna come in here and fucking moonball it to him the whole game.
Sutton had a really good game too. I'm honestly this Broncos another team that needed to lose. The Broncos losing this game I think really helps them kind of figure out where they're going to go.
Yeah,
I think it only makes them better because they have the pieces. They need to get Cortland Sutton the ball more. Javonte Williams had a phenomenal game. He was playing really well. I think a lot of it just has to do with their defense. Their secondary was kind of non-existent today. Chubb had two sacks. Randy Gregory was non-existent, but
hmm.
I think the Broncos are a decent team. I'm happy that they lost. I hate the Broncos, but
Yeah. Well, again, tough division. They got some good bones. Good organization. They have some nice pieces, like you said. I mean, what Judy? This is second year, right, or third?
yeah, second.
Javante second year. A lot of young guys that are gonna be around the organization for a while. mix, throw Russ in the mix, and Cortland Sutton and Melvin Gordon. Like, I don't know, they'll be all right. I think. Now again, no panic buttons thrown out just yet. Week 1.
Geno Smith's back though. Let's not
Nah.
forget.
I don't know. Maybe that. Who is it? Wait, I'm mixing stuff up. He broke his jaw. Did someone punch him in the jaw?
Yeah, I think they did actually, but it wasn't football, right? Like
No,
it
I
was
thought it was in
in
the
the
locker
locker
room.
room. Yeah,
Maybe
then he
that
definitely broke his jaw.
that thing straightened him out. He was all off balance.
He looks like a he looks like a Goomba from the Mario movie. Do you remember what those look like? Can you
Look it
can
up real
you
quick.
please type in Goomba,
Goomba Mario.
Goomba Mario movie? Type that in, and
Oh Jesus.
that's exactly what he looks like.
The eyes kinda, yeah, I see it.
Oh shit,
That's
Goomba
funny.
Smith
Good recap. Football's back. Hopefully week 2 is better
for
for
both of us,
Packers, for fantasy, for football in
for
general.
Raiders.
Because oh man, if it's gonna be like that on a weekly basis, like Tyler said, fucking stick a fork in me and toss me 6 feet deep. I'm donezo.
What
I'm
who do the
Gonzo
Packers have
ball.
next week?
Bears at home.
Oh, it's gonna be a fun game. Bears are gonna be thinking highly of themselves.
Well, if they don't win that one, they got at Bucks week 3, so they
Oh,
could they could find themselves in a hole real quick.
oh, yeah. The Raiders have the Cardinals next week, which is no easy picking. So
Hmm.
that should be fun.
Yeah, no, we'll see. That'll be a good test for him. Again, Chargers, one of the better teams in the NFL, so it'll be a good benchmark for him too, because the Chiefs just blew out the Cardinals. So it's like, what do you do against the Cardinals? You lose to them, then it's like, oh, we should start worrying about the Chiefs, and if you beat them at the same time, you should be all right.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the way
Alrighty,
she goes.
it's gonna do it. I'll be right back. Monday Night Gaming, so stick around.
Love you.